They are stealing our sleep and then monetizing it. Friends, cheers to you. This is my little late afternoon biologica break, as I like to call it. It's so funny because I watch the chickens, I watch the dog. They instinctually have night and morning routines because they're not as affected by the modern world, and so they are still more instinctively and intuitively attached to their biological systems. We have been pulled and moved so far from our biological systems that our sleep is deeply affected. I want to give some examples, and I would love to hear if you have any examples pop up in your head. Let me know in the comments below of how this whole system works. But one of the big things that I have noticed is that the theys of the world, the powers that be, they create a problem. And then they just so happen to sweep in a little bit later with the solution, and they happen to be the ones to monetize or to profit from it. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it's them being super helpful or being accountable to creating the problem. If you dig into this stuff a little bit deeper, you start to notice that a lot of these major companies that own a lot of things, they are on both sides of the coin, meaning that they own the stocks in the company that is creating the problem, and then they own the organizations, the companies, or stock in the companies that are creating the proposed solutions. So here's some examples. They put addictive chemicals in the food that is making people inflamed and overweight. They push agendas of things like the quote-unquote body positivity movement, and then all of a sudden a couple years later they come out with some miracle weight loss drug, or they come out with all of these weight loss programs, and you will find that a lot of the people that were pushing the movements and the agendas, or they own stock in, or they have these companies or organizations that are causing the obesity issue or the chronic health issue, they are suddenly the ones that have all of these products to help you synthetically deal with the problem. They fragment and they pull our attention in every different area and make us unable to focus. All of these things in the world causing brain fog, and then they come in with all of these different things to try to fix it. Now, it's not that all of these different solutions are bad, because we do live in this modern world and we do live in a broken system, and we do now need things to help us to function in daily life. That is the situation that we have found ourselves in. There are some things that we can do that are completely free that help with the problem, and then there's things that are not free. I mean, everything in life has a cost. Things that are not free that we can also do to help. And so we're kind of stuck in this loop because we do live in this broken system, and so we do need to do things to help ourselves regulate and to feel better. A lot of times when you follow the money trail, you land yourself back at realizing that maybe the problem that was created was not by accident, and maybe it was created on purpose for control and for financial gain. You know, once you see the pattern in life all around you, it's really, really hard to unsee it. So how are some of the ways that they stole our sleep? Well, we've talked about this before a lot of times, but one of the big ways is that they've completely thrown off our circadian rhythm with all of the artificial lighting, and specifically the very modern, cool blue light. The LED light, the blue light from all of the screens, but also our homes now are filled with, blue light that flickers, and we can't even see the flickering of all of the light with the naked eye, but a lot of the lights in our world are flickering all the time, and this is very, very stressful on our brains. Obviously, back in the day, people were much more subject to the natural order of things because they were waking with the sun, and then it would get dark. They would have lamplight, they would have candlelight, they would be sitting by the fire, and then as their body was ready to go to sleep, maybe they would read, or maybe they would crochet, or whatever they would do, and then they would fall asleep naturally. A lot of people don't realize how much the synthetic fibers and the chemical and the off-gassing of all of the synthetic fibers, including the mattress, the sheets, the PJs, the pillowcase that we're sleeping on, how much this affects us. There's frequency involved in that, there's off-gassing from the chemicals, but there's also temperature regulation. So a lot of the synthetic fabrics do not allow us to regulate our temperature the way that we're supposed to. And as many of you probably have noticed, your sleep is affected by the temperature in the room or your internal temperature of your body. That's why you sleep best on a night that is 55 to 65 degrees out. You have the window open, you have a nice little breeze coming in, and you're all nice and cozy and comfy in your bed, because that is good sleeping weather. You have all the lights off and it's cool and it's dark. That is how our bodies like to sleep. Now, instead of being woken up by the sun or by a rooster, a lot of people are being woken up by the blaring, sudden, jarring sound of a terrible alarm clock. I can't stand alarm clocks. I have had a hate-hate relationship with alarm clocks my entire life. Now, a few years ago, you guys know that I worked with a company called Dream Egg. They came out with the Sunrise One. It's a sound machine, an alarm clock, but if you have the alarm clock part on, it can do a variety of sounds. There's one that I like where it's bird sounds and it comes on nice and slow, and then the light comes on slowly like it's rising with the sun. It doesn't have that flickery light. When I turn the camera on it, I can tell if the light's flickering inside or not, so it doesn't have that. It's very, very soothing, and I like to play the music softly at night. But those jarring alarm clocks, I cannot stand those. I've always had this thing about being woken up very, very abruptly. And now with the introduction of all of the social media and the 24 access to chaos, you can doom scroll until 2 o'clock in the morning. So not only is the screen this close to your face and the blue light is shining into your eyes, so your brain is completely confused about what time of day it is, you have all sorts of information going into your psyche and creating chaos. And so it's no wonder that people are super sleep deprived. And I saw something the other day that made me think to do this. And they're calling sleep the new luxury. They're saying that sleep is the new wealth. It's this luxury lifestyle to be able to have all of the things we need now to combat the modern world, to be able to sleep well. There's so many insane things about the modern world, but the fact that we're now considering getting actual decent sleep a luxury lifestyle is wild. It's wild times, okay? So if you have a newborn, why do we create a night routine for them? It's so that their brain and body starts to associate certain activities, smells, sensations, songs, with the fact that it's nighttime and it's time to wind down and relax and go to bed. Now, most of us don't realize that as we go into adulthood, we continue to create these routines, a lot of times subconsciously. This is something I do in the late afternoon, and then I go into my routine every day. I have my little Biologica mocktail. I make it fancy, even though it's my vitamin blend drink. I put a little lime or a lemon in there because why not? It feels much better than trying to remember all the rest of the vitamins and pills that I have to swallow for the day. This just feels a lot more luxurious than that. This one is the cranberry lemonade. This is my favorite. They also have a passion fruit black currant, and it has a little effervescence, a little fizz to it, like you put a little sparkling water in there. And so when I add the lemon or the lime, it just feels like a little moment, a little pause, a little luxury. This is my midlife essentials for my perimenopause girlies, but they also have a primary essentials for all of the reproductive years, and then they have a post-menopause blend if you're on that side of things. I have found that sleep shifts as women as we go through the different phases of life. Mood shifts, our nutritional needs shift. And so we want formulas that are specifically made for women's bodies to address all the things that we're going through in the different stages. One of the things that I love about this is that it has the vitamin blends, but it also has things in it like L-theanine and saffron. So when I'm feeling a little bit maybe not myself during this phase of life, it helps with the mellowing out, and it also helps me settling into that night routine and getting some better shut-eye. And the routines are one of the way that I battle all of the chaos of modern living. So cheers to that. Cheers to not having to down 10 capsules of vitamins in the afternoon to feel better. If you are interested in the Biologica packets or figuring out which formula might be right for you, I have a link for you. If you go to the description box and you click the link, it will take you exactly where you need to go. But again, what's happened in the modern world is that a lot of these routines have been broken, or we are doing things in the routine at night that is very confusing and conflicting for the body and the brain. And the way that the body and the brain were designed is not meshing well with that. So you kind of have to create a newborn sleep routine for yourself. Again, even if it's just half an hour before bed, but there are certain things that you do every single night. Maybe it's read 2 pages of a book. Maybe it's reciting some scriptures. Maybe it's taking a warm bath or a warm shower. Maybe it's a certain essential oil that you put in your diffuser only at night. So when your nose takes in that scent, your brain goes, oh, it's time to start winding down for sleep. So certain things that you only reserve for that nighttime activity. Maybe you have a little cup of chamomile or lavender tea or passion flower tea. One of the ways that I work towards healing my nervous system is through routines. Your body sometimes to heal needs you to be boring and to have as much routine as possible. So this is my nutrient. My bioavailable nutrient drink I drink in the late afternoon. And so my body, once it gets this, registers, okay, we're in late afternoon. If I have certain things that I only do in the morning, or if I look at the beautiful first light of the sun in the morning, my body goes, oh, it's morning time. We need to be productive now. And it starts producing whatever chemicals I need to be productive in the morning. If I have certain things reserved for nighttime, and a lot of this stuff can be free. You know, it's not stuff that you have to pay for. It's not expensive subscriptions for rings you wear on your finger and trackers and all this stuff. Just simple things that you can do that are signaling to your body, hey, it's nighttime. I need to start to chill. And certain things that you can remove out of that sleep time, out of that nighttime routine that are not helping with the sleep, so that your body is not in such a state of conflict at night. Now, there are certain things that some of us, because we have more issues than others, we've developed more issues, or we're more sensitive to a lot of things in the modern world than other people. And so maybe we need more things. Maybe not everybody needs a drink like this. I have one in the morning for migraine, brain fog prevention, and then I do this one for my hormones in the afternoon. Maybe not everybody needs all of that, but I've been battling chronic illness for almost 30 years. A ton of people are magnesium deficient. So it is helpful to take a magnesium bath at night. Epsom salts, put on some magnesium lotion. That is very helpful for a lot of people for sleep. It's very helpful to do things by lamplight and candlelight. I'm not knocking if you want to do something. Truly, if something's working for you, do it. But I don't know if introducing more and more and more and more technology into our nighttime routine is the ultimate answer. I really do like to recite certain scriptures. I like to pray over my bedroom. And when certain things start to pop up in my mind, I out loud, well, it might sound silly, but I out loud tell myself, what is it exactly I can do about this right now? Absolutely nothing. And will losing sleep over it make me handle it better tomorrow or worse? I just have practical, matter-of-fact conversations with the silly thoughts that come into my head. Like, absolutely not. That will not be helpful. If I get some rest, because there's nothing I can do about X, Y, and Z right now. If I get some rest and I have to handle it tomorrow, I'll probably do better. I'll probably be better at it. So, oh, I edited that wrong. Could I fix that video right now? I mean, I could, but then I'm losing a whole bunch of sleep and I'm probably not going to be as effective tomorrow. So having conversations, reciting scriptures, reading the Bible, reading a good book, taking a bath, taking a hot shower, putting on some nice music, all of these things that we can do that are simple things. So one of the first things is having good routines, not allowing them to steal our sleep by participating in all of the chaos and all of the things that they want us participating in on a daily basis, so that they can rob more and more from us, and then they can start to label something as primitive as sleep as a luxury lifestyle, and then try to sell you a whole bunch of technology to help you get sleep, which is kind of a birthright of human beings. So not all these solutions are bad, but I do think that it matters for us to pay attention to patterns and to not overly participate in the parts of it that we don't need to, because we're kind of just giving them what they want over and over and over again. And so they've stolen so much of this stuff from us. And I feel like in little layers and in little ways, we can take back that ground. As I say in my book, The Lost Art of Living, I talk a lot about tending our corner of the earth and doing the things that we are in control of, because a lot of the stuff they're doing out here today, we're not in control of. But there are some things within the four corners of our home, within our own mind, within our own heart, within our own power, that we can do to take back some of what they've stolen. And as always, we bring it back to, we are returning to the design of God. The further we get away from the design of God, the more we're going to feel unwell, the more chaos. The more we return to the design of God through being fully nourished, through taking in the things that we need to give our body what it needs to activate the healing mechanisms that God put in there, to go back to the design of God as far as He intends us to interact with the world and with creation. And the closer we can get to that, and the more intentional we can move through the day and through the night, the more we can get back to that design, and the more we will feel the way on every level that God designed us to feel. So we can break patterns. And again, we can frame things how we want. This is my time when I have to sit down and take these notes and have these vitamins. Why not do it in a way that makes it feel fun to me and isn't some arduous task? A lot of stuff is intention and a lot of stuff is choices. So I'd be really curious if you've noticed this in your own life, and if you've noticed the big business that is now sleep. If you've noticed that they're starting to push sleep as a luxury lifestyle instead of something that is our birthright as human beings, the rest that God built into creation for us. And so if you have been struggling with your sleep, I just pray over you right now that you would feel the overwhelming comfort of the Lord, that His wisdom would break through whatever fog or whatever darkness that you are experiencing, and that you would hear that still small voice inside, that you would follow the leading of His Spirit, that you would remember that it is in Him that we trust. And when we lie down, we can do so with peace, because the Lord makes us to dwell in safety. And He is a God who inclines His ear. He hears us, He sees us, and He will never leave you or forsake you. And so I pray sleep over you, I pray hope over you, and I pray joy over you, in the mighty and holy name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you, friends, so much for choosing to come back and spend a piece of your precious day here with me. I would love to hear what you think in the comments below. And as always, if you have any video requests, let me know in the comments. If you are new here and you enjoyed today's video, I would love to have you subscribe so that we can visit again. I appreciate you, and Lord willing, I will see each and every one of you beautiful and precious souls right here on the next one. Bye, friends. Sleep tight.